Well, we've already had an Olympic champion this weekend. How about a world champion as well? It's a big welcome to our very own Hannah Miley. Hannah, thank you for joining us on SportsByte. Firstly, we're here at the Bucks Championships this weekend. You've just raced in the 400 IM. How are you finding the meet so far?
It's been really good. I had the 800 free, the 200 free, and then finished off on the 400 IM, so it was quite a nice solid way to get some long course racing in. Start of the season, it's just been trying to get back into long course, and this was one of the meets that I kind of thought would be great to race at. Raced last year for my university, Robert Gordon's University, so big that one up. Sadly, I can't race for them this year because I finished at uni. So no, it's always great because you get a lot of swimmers that tend to pinpoint this meet as a potential meet for swimming fast in, and for me it's great to be able to practice fast heat swims. So yeah, it's been really good and I've enjoyed it.
Great. Well, you've raced at Bucks many times before now, almost a veteran of Bucks,
oh dear.
If you don't mind me saying that one. What are your thoughts on the meet in general and how they've evolved over the years?
I have noticed that this meet is different compared to last year, but that's the great thing about these competitions, seeing them evolve and how they progress. Obviously they take great interest in the feedback that athletes, coaches and the sort of presidents of each university have to say, so it's great to know that that feedback's being listened to and it's been taken on board, and also the different sponsors that go around now. It's nice to see the change, but yeah, I mean, I'm only 23, you never think a 23-year-old could be classed as a veteran, but I've been in the sport long enough.
Well, we can't go through this chat without mentioning the fact that you won that World Short Course Championship in Istanbul in December. Firstly, congratulations on that. Is it a rather nice feeling to be a world champion?
Yeah, it kind of is. Well, I mean, when you sit down and think about it, it was more about the race. I mean, the fact that she won was coming back me so bad on that last 25, and that's how she won it in London. So it was kind of nice to have won over on an Olympic champion, but also for me, it's kind of a good experience and something that I can put towards my collection. Like, nobody will be able to take that title away from me, so it's kind of a nice thing to add to what both me and my dad do as a team. So yeah, it's really nice.
Well, it was fantastic to watch, Hannah, from a personal point of view, but you're very, very well known for your humble, down-to-earth character. But how much has your life changed, if at all, since that December win?
Not really. It's just made me more excited knowing that the training and hard work that I've put in is actually working. So definitely the changes that we've made is going in the right direction, and now it's trying to transfer it to long course, which is difficult because I train in a short course pool and the nearest long course pool for me is about 2.5 hours away. We've got one coming into Aberdeen hopefully before Commonwealth Games, so looking forward to that opening up because that will help hugely with my training, especially for Glasgow and then on to Rio. So it's great. It's nice to see that both what me and my dad do can get the results, because it's an odd dynamic. Not many people expect it to work, but it does, and we're always kind of not the underdog, but we've got the Irish running through us. Like it's the last man standing and fight to the end, and we'll make sure that we keep fighting.
Well, that definitely shines out in your character, Hannah. I mean, you've touched upon your dad, and you've obviously got a very, very close relationship with him, not only as your father, but your coach as well. How big an influence has he been in your career and your life?
Massively. I wouldn't be swimming if it wasn't for him. He was the first person to push me in the pool, so he was quite keen, even from a very early age. It wasn't necessarily swimming at this kind of level, it was more of a safety point. He wanted to make sure that all his kids could swim, and it's kind of worked. It's been good. He taught me how to swim properly when I was 3, and since then I've gone through the stages of council lessons and then joined the club at the age of 5, and then European Juniors, my first sort of British team, and it's just been nicely progressing through. So we've had like our ups and downs, but to be able to take him on that journey has been really, really nice and incredible as well, because it just shows that the sort of unit that we have, I fully trust him. He knows what he's talking about. I mean, he loves swimming so much, and that's rubbed off on both me and my 2 younger brothers. So without that, definitely wouldn't be standing here right now.
Well, we touched upon the Olympics briefly before, but the one thing that I remember mostly about the Olympics is the fact that it got swimming on the television, which was fantastic to see. What are your thoughts on the coverage of the sport in this country, and how can it be improved in future?
It's a good question. I'd definitely love to see swimming more on TV, and I'm biased because I am a swimmer, but the fact that you can get sports like indoor bowls going on the TV for across the nation, it just shows that swimming is interesting. It was ranked the 3rd most watched sport at the Olympics, so there is an interest in it, and there's so many people nowadays that are taking a huge interest in sport, whether it's learn to swim, masters, open water, and there's so many different sections to it. So it would be great if we could see more coverage, whether it's just like little snippets in the news, or just kind of like other meets like trials, maybe getting them on the national TV, whether through Sky or the BBC. It would be nice just to kind of promote the sport more, because it's just great to see that these youngsters coming through can get a bit of coverage, and for them it gets them excited. If they know they can take part in a sport that's publicly watched and quite exciting about it, it'll do the sport a lot of good.
Well, especially we're so busy this season, aren't you? I mean, you've got the British Championships coming up in June, then you've got the World Championships, all being well, in August in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Finally, Hannah, we know you're busy this weekend, you've got other media commitments, so we will let you go. But what are your aims ahead of the rest of this season?
Well, I've got the Open International meet, the British International, coming up in March, so kind of just training through that, so it'll be nice to see what it'll be like racing against the rest of Britain, because not really had that head-to-head competition since December. But then after that, it's kind of head down through to trials in June. For us, it's different this time. Trials being only 6 weeks out from the competition rather than starting in March. So that'll be very, very interesting to see how people's preparations and planning have changed. So fingers crossed we can qualify for Worlds and then hopefully go on to the Worlds in the summer. So all these kind of stepping stones are leading onwards for Commonwealth Games for me in 2014 and then hopefully on to Rio.
Well, it's a huge schedule right up ahead of you. We wish you the best of luck, not only for the rest of this weekend, but for the rest of the season as well. And hopefully you can add to that short course in the long course in Barcelona. Thank you for joining us, Hannah. We really appreciate it. Best of luck again. Thank you.
Cheers.
This is Andy Sixsmith reporting for SportsByte.